This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Now at 6, Governor Eric Holcomb announces his plan to reopen the state of Indiana in stages, and it all begins Monday.
It's 5 stages in 2 months. The goal is to have the state completely reopen by the 4th of July. Right now, we want to get right to RTV6's Cameron Riddle.
And Cameron, you covered today's announcement from the governor. What's the timeline everyone needs to know?
Well, Amanda, Mark, good evening. First thing they need to know is this is not going to happen overnight. The governor promised that this would be in stages, and now we know that's 5 stages ending in July 4th. So we're going to walk you through the stages right now. Of the 5 stages, Indiana has been in stage 1 since March. That's a near total lockdown. Starting on Monday, most of the state will move to stage 2, with the exception of Marion, Lake, and Cass counties, where the coronavirus cases are the highest. With that said, on March 4th, the restriction on social gathering loosens up, allowing gatherings to be as large as 25 people. That new 25% limitation does not include restaurants and places of worship. Most retail businesses will be able to operate at 50% capacity. Stores inside malls will be able to operate at 50%, but the common areas like food courts will have to remain at 25% capacity. Now, if a county has been in stage 2 for a week with no major issues, then on May 11th, hair and nail salons as well as barbershops will be able to open by appointment only. Also, on May 11th, restaurants and bars that serve food will be able to open to 50% capacity. Then on May 24th, we hit stage 3. That allows Indiana gyms, fitness centers, playgrounds, tennis courts, and theaters to operate at half capacity. The maximum capacity for retail stores and malls will then be moved up from 50 to 75%. Now, that restriction on social gatherings will then also be eased from 25 people, allowing gatherings up to 100 people. And then we finally have reached the summer. That's when bars, nightclubs, museums, zoos, aquariums, and sports leagues can then reopen. Now, here's an important exception. While the governor has announced his plans for the state level, city and county leaders can keep restrictions a bit tighter. So that does mean that Indianapolis, Marion County will remain under Mayor Hogstett's stay-at-home order until May 15th. This comes with one notable exception for churches and places of worship, which starting May 8th can meet in person. That does include here in Indianapolis, as long as social distancing guidelines are followed. It should be noted that any of this and all of this is subject to change if the coronavirus impact gets worse. Now, come July 4th, if all of this is going to plan, then conventions, sporting events, fairs, and festivals, including the state fair, can resume as early as that 4th of July weekend. We are live downtown tonight. I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Cameron, thank you for breaking that down in a simple way. We know these 5 stages contain a lot of information, and it can be tough to digest. So right now on our website, theindychannel.com, and on the RTV6 app, we have everything you need to know about those 5 stages that Cameron just mentioned and the impact that those stages could have on your life.
In Indiana, there continues to be hundreds of new cases of COVID-19 as well as dozens of new deaths. The Indiana State Department of Health reports 815 new cases of the coronavirus. That means more than 18,600 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus since the pandemic began. The state also confirms 55 new deaths from COVID-19. 1,062 people in Indiana have died from the coronavirus. More than 99,600 people have been tested for COVID-19, and about 19% of them have tested positive for the virus. In new developments tonight, the FDA confirms it will allow emergency use of an experimental drug that appears to help some COVID-19 patients recover faster. Preliminary results from a government study show that the drug, remdesivir, shortened the time to recovery for hospitalized coronavirus patients. The Associated Press reports drug maker Gilead Sciences has said it would donate its currently available stock of the drug and is ramping up production to make more.
The coronavirus pandemic has changed lives in profound ways, including houses of worship. The Rebound Indiana is RTV6's commitment to making sure systems in place are working to help people get back on their feet. Call 6 Investigates' Kara Kenny found churches in central Indiana applying for federal funding, which some say is an unprecedented move away from the separation of church and state.
The First Amendment lays out the Establishment Clause, separation of church and state. Most churches in Indiana do not pay most taxes, including property taxes, and many want to operate away from the prying eyes of government. But these are unique times. At a time when many Hoosiers need hope, churches are being forced to halt in-person services and go totally online. New Era Church on Indy's west side has nearly 2,000 members and a staff of 20 people. Pastor Clarence Moore says donations have taken a hit.
But overall, our offerings are down right at about 10%. And our capital giving is down about 15%.
So New Era Church reached out to the federal government for help. They applied for a loan under the Small Business Administration's Paycheck Protection Program. Loans churches and other nonprofits won't have to pay back as long as they're used for things like maintaining payroll, mortgage, and utilities. To Pastor Moore's surprise, the SBA approved New Era Church for a loan.
They give you 2.5 months worth of salary to keep your people on the team. And these funds that we got are going to kind of help us get through the summer if our online giving doesn't fall off too much in that process. So we were glad to get those funds. They were critical.
The SBA would not tell Call 6 Investigates how many churches in Indiana have applied for or been approved, saying the priority right now is on processing loans to get funds into folks' hands. We checked around and found several local churches who have applied and are still waiting, like Barnes United Methodist Church.
We have not heard back from the bank yet where we applied, and we're hoping to hear back soon. But I do think it's critical because I don't expect to have members back in the church at least until June, and it could be longer than that. And we just don't know whether the online giving is going to continue at the level.
Half a dozen national groups like the Interfaith Alliance sent this letter to SBA saying taxpayer funds may not be used to support religious activities and urging the feds to create best practices for administering the funds.
I think this is an unprecedented change. This is a program administered by a federal government agency that should be attentive to church-state separation issues, that has an obligation to abide by the First Amendment, including the Establishment Clause, and how they administer programs funded with our tax dollars.
The Interfaith Alliance urges congregations to have conversations about separation of church and state and whether to accept federal funds. Both Pastors Moore and Harrison say they had those discussions.
There was some trepidation from some of our leaders about whether or not we should take these funds.
Because I think all churches are a little fearful if you take money from the government. What does that really mean? And will government infringe upon, the beliefs and the practices of the church?
Ultimately, churches we talk with say accepting federal money will allow them to continue paying employees, provide valuable services to the community, and reopen their doors when it's safe to do so. Reporting in Indianapolis, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
The SBA has already approved more than 35,000 Paycheck Protection Program loans in Indiana. But again, as Kara mentioned, SBA is not yet saying how many of those are for churches. And like we mentioned at the top of the show, Governor Holcomb will lift the restrictions on people inside churches on May 8th, except for people 65 and older and those who are in high-risk groups. They are being asked to stay home.
As businesses begin to reopen, workers in one of the largest money-making industries for the state are worried how they'll be able to safely reopen. RTV6's Stephanie Wade breaks down those concerns and what casino staff are asking for.
When you think of a casino, you think of gambling. And to gamble, you have to touch things. You have to touch money. You have to touch every slot machine. I think people go to a slot machine for 5 minutes and get up and move to another one.
That's why people like Kayla Henson, who work at a casino, are worried if they'll be safe when they open back up.
Touching all of that is really scary, knowing what's out there now.
With more than a dozen casinos in the state, 3,000 employees were furloughed because of the pandemic. Workers held a statewide virtual rally on Facebook Live today.
The Indiana Grand in Shelbyville, the Blue Chip Casino in Michigan City,
sharing their concerns and the need to enhance and prioritize cleaning before reopening.
I want to be able to tell my customers that it's safe. I want to feel safe myself.
It also included Indiana State Senator Eddie Melton.
When the casinos reopen, those of you who are working are going to be on the front lines of this pandemic. I want you to know that I have your back. We're not going to let anyone gamble with your health.
Right now, the Indiana Gaming Commission does not allow face coverings. A union representative tells RTV6 some were even told they had to remove theirs when they opted to wear one prior to the stay-at-home order.
I'm hoping that our company steps up and demands that we wear gloves as frontline workers, masks, whatever it will take to make sure that we stay healthy and are able to work.
The shared goal, casinos don't become a destination where people are afraid of going.
I'm not a professional health expert. I don't know the answer to what should be done for that, but I hope that they seek those answers.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
And it is still undetermined when casinos will be allowed to reopen in Indiana. Casino workers are also concerned, though, if they do get sick, they'll struggle to get access to health care. The union is in negotiations now with employers to push for better benefits. How long would you stand in line for a dozen donuts? Your answer might be different if you're waiting for these indie favorites. Coming up, a long wait for Longs ends today. We'll show you how the decades-old shop got back to business.
And I'm Dave First, along with the reigning Indy 500 champion, Simon Pagenaud, who has a growing problem right now. Coming up in our Sports Extra Spotlight.
And temperatures are warmer to the west. We're just on the edge of the warmer temperatures. We'll talk about our Saturday warmth and beyond coming up.
Keller and Keller. Right now.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
For many of you, the morning starts with a fresh donut, and now the good ones still warm and chewy right out of the box.
One of the most popular places in Indy to get a dozen had a grand reopening well before the sun came up. Our Brad Brown and video journalist Shay Goodpaster give us a look.
There are few places that see a line like this early.
Freezing my butt off, waiting for donuts.
When I first got here, I'd say there was probably 75 to 100 people in line. I was back all the way down at the end of this fence when I first got here.
Long, cold, and friendly.
Social distancing? Sort of. But it's already been a long wait for Long's Bakery. 6 weeks to wait for donuts. So what's another hour?
My 90-year-old in-laws wanted some donuts, and so I'm down here to get them a few donuts.
Things are clearly different once you clear that line. Plastic barriers, only 4 people inside at once. But Long's is still putting out some of the best baked goods in Indy.
It's something different. It's a different process, so it's kind of different to go from having a whole line to the door every day to having 4 people in here. But I like it.
I told everybody at work yesterday I was going to get them, so I had to follow through. I live right down the street, so.
A little later, but the lines still around the building at Long's Southport store.
I didn't know it was closed.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see everybody come out.
Waiting a long time.
We've seen the news this morning, laying in bed, seeing the news, and decided to come out.
The lines will likely continue until everyone can get their Long's donut fix.
I was definitely successful at getting my donuts. I was in that line for maybe about 45 minutes, but it was worth it.
Just be patient.
Because it's Long's. The best donut you can buy around here.
It's Long's, man. If you've never had them, you don't know, but if you've had them, you know.
Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
Tasty, tasty there. All right, RTV6 and the Indy Chamber of Commerce have joined together as we work to protect Indiana businesses. You can find out more about the Chamber's Buy Indy effort on our site, theindychannel.com/open, and there you will discover more businesses that are open for you.
And Mark, as we move into the weekend, temperatures warm up even more. We were on the edge of the warmer air today. What do you do when it's nice and sunny and comfortable? Play a little golf. Now that courses are starting to open back up, you can bet that's going to be a popular spot, and probably still is at this hour and will be as we go into tomorrow. Talked about Long's Donuts. How about this? A morel mushroom. I found one lonely mushroom in a tree area here in my house, and I'm sure there's more, but I know a lot of you go hunting for those, and they are excellent eating. 64, that's temperature now. The wind is calm. It's nice to have a light wind. That makes the temperature feel even better. Humidity's down. Temperatures as cool as 64 degrees. That's in Richmond, Indy, and in Crawfordsville. As warm as 71 in Sullivan. To the north and west, the clouds are starting to increase. That's with warmer air returning. We may have a sprinkle or two in the western portion of the state along Interstate 74, I-65. Not a big deal. These clouds then will continue to keep temperatures from falling off too quickly and too much tonight. In the early morning hours, we'll be in the low 50s, and that's basically the low temperature that we expect. As we go into tomorrow, we start warmer, we'll definitely end warmer. Temperatures in the low to mid 50s first thing in the morning. If you're looking to mow the lawn, tomorrow's your day. Will be good all day long with temperatures around 80. Sunday, the chance for rain returns, especially in the southern half of the state and for the first half of the day. Temperatures tomorrow move quickly. 73 at noon, wind out of the southwest. It will become gusty, gusting over 20 miles per hour, and a 4 o'clock temperature of 79 degrees. The key is that wind direction, bringing in the warmer air. Tomorrow will be the warmest day in the 7-day planner. Take advantage of it because temperatures cool on Sunday because of the fact that we'll have the rain chances. Saturday night into Sunday, there's your increasing rain chance. Increasing rain chance will mean a decreasing temperature to 68 on Sunday. Monday, 69 with sunshine. We'll get back to a chance for showers, maybe some thunderstorms Tuesday, but temperatures never really sustain themselves in the 70s. As you can see, it's 6 out of the next 7 days that will be in the 60s for highs. Have a good weekend.
You too, Kevin. Thank you very much. Hey, May usually means the start of the race month in Indianapolis, but with coronavirus, this year's Indy 500 is scheduled now for August 23rd.
And if race fans are feeling impatient, imagine being the defending champion. Sadly, the wait continues. Sports Director Dave First has the Sports Extra Spotlight.
So it's finally May, but one look around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it definitely feels anything but. Tired of killing time until the rescheduled August date? You're not the only one.
Here we are, Simon. It's May. How are you holding up?
Well, I'm becoming Mr. Mountain here, but it's Penske-like. It's very well trimmed.
So here's the thing, though. I always thought Penske preferred clean-shaven drivers. This is okay for now, or what?
Clean-shaved?
This has literally been my home for the last 2 weeks. Actually, it's not just Simon. Teammate Joseph Newgarden has been rocking the mustache, as has fellow teammate Will Power, in various forms, until his wife Liz helped shave it all off.
I think if Liz didn't do it, I would have done it, but I can't get to his house, so yeah, Will was something else for sure.
Much better. The long and short of this new reality has also taken IndyCar into the virtual world, racing on the internet. But Simon says he's done so by involving his longtime race engineer.
Yep, 6 to go now.
Is there a plus to come out of all this?
A lot about racing is communication. We've been able to keep that open with Ben Bretzman, my engineer, since he's been my spotter on our racing.
Let's pit here and take tires, Simon.
And I think we're like in the middle of the season right now. We're not at the beginning of it. We don't feel rusty. We actually feel very sharp.
And it has paid off in this virtual world, with Simon still winning races.
It's been fun to compete against my fellow competitors. but best has been to beat them, actually. So I know a lot of them are done with iRacing, but I'm okay if we keep going. It's going really well for me right now.
In these times, it seems like a lifetime since Simon won the biggest race in the world. He'll hang on to that defending champ title a little longer.
Our August is our new May, I guess. But I'm excited no matter what. I can't wait to get to Indianapolis, guys.
And at the end of the day, that's the big picture. Day first, RTV6 Sports. Hey, we continue to honor the outgoing spring sport athletes with our RTV6 senior salutes and a big old shout out to the Eminence Eels softball team. Not just one. How about the entire group of seniors? Addie Bales, Raina Bitzer, Coda Finch, Jade Hart, Shelby Lashbrook, Emma Mannion, Jaylee Riffle, Taylor Schroth, and Odyssey Stanton. Athletic Director Brian Burleson says their motto, never quit, and this group never did. Good luck to these seniors. I'm Dave First with another RTV6 Senior Salute.
Welcome back. Today's RTV6 photo of the day is from Joni Ennis in Kokomo. And full disclosure here, we got this picture a month ago, but we haven't been able to show it because of all the news we've had recently. But here it is now.
Thank goodness, too, because Joni shared this photo of her dog, Charlie, with his sunglasses on. And Joni says Charlie loves being in the sun.
And Charlie is styling, too. Joni, thank you for this picture. And Joni, thank you for being patient as well.
And we do want you to send in your photo of the day. You can show us how you are social distancing or spending your time during Indiana's stay-at-home order. Email your photo to news@WRTV.com. Kevin, I think all the dogs were laying in the sun today.
Well, Charlie had the sunglasses. You can wear shorts and a short sleeve shirt tomorrow. Almost 80 degrees. It will be cooler on Sunday with that chance for rain. Enjoy the weekend.
Well, thanks for
You too, Kevin. Thank you. And thank you for watching and choosing RTV6.